Today we are diving straight into, well, the deep end of an absolute crisis. What we have in front of us isn't a history book. It's not a journal.
Yeah.
It's an urgent first-person testimonial. It's basically a confession, and it's written by a man who is, at that very moment, preparing to end his own life.
It's his last will and testament, but for his mind. He's laying out the exact sequence of events that pushed him to this utter desperation. He's penniless, and crucially, he's just run out of morphine.
The one thing that was making his existence even remotely bearable.
Right. And our mission really is to analyze every single detail he gives us. We have to treat it as fact to even begin to understand the kind of trauma that would require that level of chemical oblivion.
And in his choice, he states it right at the beginning as forgetfulness or death. But here's the part that really gets me, the key psychological piece. Even facing the end, he stops to insist, "Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate." He needs to defend his character.
That defense is just fascinating, isn't it? Why, when you're about to describe a cosmic, world-breaking horror, do you first worry about the stigma of drug addiction?
It seems so. Small in comparison.
It tells you that the shame of being seen as weak is, in a weird way, a more familiar, more human horror than the thing he's trying to forget. He needs us to know the pain was real and that it demanded a solution that, normal life just couldn't provide.
Okay, so let's unpack this journey. The background is simple enough. He was the supercargo on a packet ship.
Right. Caught early in the war by a German sea raider.
And he mentions this surprisingly liberal discipline. They were treated fairly, enough for him to see an opportunity.
And 5 days later, he takes it. He slips away in a small boat. He has some food, some water. It's a desperate move, but it works. It really speaks to the courage he had back then, which I think is what he wants us to remember.
So now he's adrift, middle of the Pacific, somewhere south of the equator, in a part of the ocean that's just empty. He's not a navigator, so for days he just floats.
Just watching the sun scorch this, as he puts it, heaving vastness of unbroken blue. That isolation, that mundane despair is already setting in.
And that's the baseline. Existential loneliness. And then the world just violently shifts. He wakes up one day, and his boat is grounded, half sucked into this slimy expanse of hellish black mire.
The ocean floor has become the land.
The sensory details he gives are just immediate and overwhelming. The whole landscape is transformed. It's a putrid, rotten place covered in decaying fish.
But he also says other less describable things.
Exactly. And there's this sinister quality to the air, to the soil itself.
But the thing that really stands out to me is the silence. The oppressive, total silence.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. He's straining to hear the ocean, the waves, something familiar, and there is just nothing. He says the completeness of the stillness oppressed him with a nauseating fear.
And he figures it out almost instantly, which shows you how sharp his mind still is at this point.
A volcanic upheaval. Unprecedented. Something has thrown a piece of the seabed, hidden for, innumerable millions of years, right up to the surface.
This isn't just geology, though. It's like the fundamental rules of the world have been broken.
And the proof, the really chilling detail, is the complete absence of seafowl. There are dead fish everywhere, but no birds, not a single one. Even the scavengers have rejected this new, unnatural world.
So after waiting 2 days for the muck to dry out a bit, he starts walking. He heads west, aiming for this single, distant hummock. It's the only feature on the entire horizon.
And just imagine that trek. Days of walking through that maddening smell of decay and that total silence towards something that just never seems to get any closer.
By the fourth evening, he gets to the base of it, and he's just spent. Physically, mentally, he's done.
But then the night changes things.
He wakes up from these wild dreams, and the moon is up. It's waning. Fantastically gibbous, he says. And he realizes he has to travel at night, without the sun. The moonlight gives him this weird, almost unnatural strength, and he starts to climb.
And the view from the top, it's not what he expected.
Not at all. He's hoping to see the ocean, something familiar. Instead, he looks down into an immeasurable pit or canyon. A black void that the moon hasn't even reached yet. It's just an absence of everything.
He says he feels like he's on the edge of the world, peering into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. He's standing at the precipice of non-existence.
And on some impulse he can't even explain, he starts climbing down into it.
Down into the darkness. And as he gets further down, the slope gets more gradual, and his attention is caught by something across the chasm. There's a vast and singular object gleaming white in the moonlight.
He thinks it's a rock at first, but then the light hits it just right, and the realization is Shocking. It's not natural.
No, it's a well-shaped monolith. It's huge, and it clearly shows, he says, the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
And this thing, this monument, was the bottom of the ocean since the world was young. As the moon gets higher, he can see a channel of water at the bottom of the canyon, flowing around the base of it.
The stone is covered in inscriptions. Hieroglyphics he can't read, but he can see what they are. They're aquatic symbols.
Fish, octopi, whales,
Yes.
but also things he'd seen rotting on the mudflats. Things unknown to our world. It's like a history book written in a language of deep-sea nightmares.
But it's the carvings, the bas reliefs, that unlock the true scope of this. They show, well, he calls them a certain sort of men.
And he says he dare not describe them in detail. The memory alone makes him faint.
Webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes. I mean, they're completely alien to anything in our evolutionary path.
This is where it just completely breaks the timeline of human history.
It really does, because he notes the creatures were chiseled badly out of proportion. He sees one of them killing a whale that was only a little larger than itself.
The scale is terrifying, but it's the age. That's the real horror.
Yes. He realizes he's not looking at gods of some lost human tribe. He's looking at the gods of a people whose last descendant died out eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Let's just pause on that. Eras. It just shatters the clock. We're not talking about Atlantis. We're talking about a civilization so ancient that our entire species is just a brief, thin layer of paint on top of its history.
Precisely. His whole experience shifts from a struggle for survival to this unbearable glimpse of a truth that makes all human knowledge, all of history, completely irrelevant.
He's standing there, just trying to process this. The moon casting these weird reflections on the water below. And that's when it happens.
That's the moment that breaks him.
The thing slid into view. That's how he puts it. It comes up from the dark water with just a slight churning.
It's not a dream. It's not a hallucination. It's there. In the moonlight, the god from the carvings. It's real.
His description is just pure dread.
Yeah.
Vast, Polyphemus-like, and loathsome. And it moves with purpose. It goes right to the monolith, wraps its gigantic scaly arms around it, bows its head, and it makes certain measured sounds.
It's worshiping. After millions of years, it's renewing its worship.
And that's where his mind just fragments. His conscious memory cuts off right there. He just remembers a frantic escape back to his boat, singing and laughing. His sanity was just annihilated by that moment of contact.
The next thing he knows, he's in a San Francisco hospital. An American ship found him, adrift in the middle of the ocean.
And his story, his whole experience, it's dismissed. Fever dreams, delirium, the rescuers didn't see any new landmass. So his truth is just filed away as madness.
And that's where the real torture begins, isn't it? Knowing a truth that the entire world refuses to even consider.
He tries to find some anchor. He goes to an ethnologist, asks about the old Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
But the expert is, in his words, hopelessly conventional. And that's the moment. He realizes his knowledge is so far outside our reality that it literally cannot be processed by civilization. The experts, the history books, they're all obsolete.
And that's his life now. The horror never leaves him, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, the same moon from that night.
The morphine was just a temporary fix, a transient surcease that turned him into a slave. He tries to convince himself it was just a fever, but he says the hideously vivid vision always comes back.
So his final dread, the thing that's driving him to this end, it's not just the memory, it's a prophecy. It's for all of us. He shudders thinking of those nameless things, crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshiping their ancient stone idols.
He's terrified of an apocalypse, a day when they rise above the billows to drag down war-exhausted mankind. Seeing that truth turn him into a prophet of a doom nobody else can see.
And he's about to end it to escape that vision, leaving this account behind. But the end isn't quiet. The horror has followed him.
The final lines, they're just terrifying. He hears a noise at his door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
He knows what it is. It's found him.
And then that last broken sentence, just pure adrenaline and terror.
God, that hand. The window. The window.
It's there, the hand from his vision, reaching for him. And he has to leap to his death to escape it. So whether it was a fever dream born from isolation or a true glimpse into a pre-human past, the result is the same. This account details a terror so profound that just completely destroyed the man who saw it. He learned something that the human mind simply is not built to contain.
Which leaves us, and you, with this final thought. We all operate on the assumption that our world, our history, is stable and known. But if one tremor, one shift in the Earth's crust, could expose a reality that predates human thought itself, how much of what we accept as real is just a fragile, temporary surface? What impossible truths might be waiting just beneath the veneer of our known world, ready to break through when the next upheaval comes?